Yo, it's been 1,000 days of me trying to start a marketing agency. Just look at this. So on August 6th of 2022, it's my first ever YouTube video I published on this channel.
Hey guys, what's up? Today
I have no idea what I'm doing. And since August of 2022, it's been 1,065 days. 1,065 days of me grinding on a business model that honestly I didn't know was going to work or not when I first started. Because now, we've made the hundreds of thousands of dollars since starting. But at the time, I was just a broke kid who had just gotten out of high school. So in this video, I'll run through pretty much the past 1,000 days of my life and how I've spent it to get to where I'm at right now, in case you want to, I guess, speed run an agency if you've already started one. Or if you're thinking about starting one, you'll just see the actual how hard it was for me, and or maybe easy it was, depending on how you perceive what I go through, to see if it's something you want to start for yourself. Let's just go ahead and start from the beginning, 1,065 days ago, or technically before then, because that video that I had posted was after a month of me already starting. So a month prior to my first month in SMMA video, I was really lost. I just graduated high school that I had tried at because I wanted to go to a good college to get a good job, but then I realized the people with the good jobs don't even make good money to begin with. So I was very confused at that point. And so I kind of started to look up okay, what other ways are there to make money? So I looked up how to make money online, and I saw all the different business models. I saw drop shipping. I saw people starting their own brand. I tried reselling for a little bit, but really the thing I ended up landing on, which is still what I'm doing to this day and what's made me all my money, is SMMA, or a marketing agency, or people are calling it freelance brand scaling now, or an AI agency. But essentially that business model is you work with a business and you provide them with a marketing based service, whether you're getting them leads or impressions or views or whatever. And in exchange for the customers you get them, they pay you however much, a few $1,000s a month. And I figured, okay, this seems like the model that I want to get into. It's going to help me build a bunch of skills, even if down the line this doesn't necessarily make me my first $1,000,000 or however much, right? So okay, I'm going all in on this. I saw a couple videos by Iman Gadzi, who's peak of SMMA content at that time, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna jump into it and do it. And so I did. So I'm just have no money, no skills at this point, just a lot of time during the summer. And I just started every day doing outreach to businesses on freelance platforms like Upwork or Fiverr and things like that, to try and just manage people's social media, because that's something I felt like I could do at the time. Facebook ads seemed really scary and all of these other things. So I figured, okay, let's do this first, and then we'll use the money we make from this to start an actual agency. So I did. And the first month, as you guys could see in that video, if you guys go back and watch it, I made no money. I was just doing a bunch of outreach. I was still very confused. I was also not confident, or many other things that I am right now. I really didn't have much going for me at the time, but I kept pushing. First month, just a lot of outreach, learning, nothing really happened. Second month though, looking back on it, I got insanely lucky. The second month ever in the agency, ever in business really, and the first sales call I ever took, I closed somehow for $1,400 a month. But that was kind of when my luck ran out. At that time, for the next month to 2 months, I still tried to get more of those clients, and I just was not able to. The people who were there were only paying $100 to $200. And I kind of realized that, okay, not many companies have the budget to pay for something that doesn't necessarily make them direct revenue. And that's when I found out about lead gen SMMA, or essentially bringing in leads for a local business, in my case, that would turn into money. For example, at the time I thought, okay, the best thing I can do is to work with remodeling companies. I would bring them people who need more kitchens, and then they sell those people on a $15,000 kitchen, and I made them money, and then so naturally they're going to pay me. And that's the whole concept, and that's what I started doing. And it seems simple, but you need to get the clients first in order to do that. And that's what I really struggled with. My schedule during college at this point was wake up early, go to all my classes and everything. After my classes, I come home, I eat something, or not home, go back to my dorm, and then I find like an empty spot on campus to kind of cold call where I wouldn't be seen, because it is like the most embarrassing thing to just be like rejected 100 calls in a row when you're first starting. So I would do 100, 200 cold calls every day after school, and then during breaks and weekends and things, I would do probably like, I don't know, 6 to 10 hours of cold calling, depending on how much time I could actually put in. And that really sucked. And it wasn't just cold calling too. I tried other outreach methods. I tried like SMS, so like texting businesses automatically. I tried emailing, so like manually emailing businesses. I even tried like DMs at one point, and I would be like at parties in college, just like under some like blanket or like whatever else, doing like cold DMs at like everyone else is drinking or smoking or whatever, and I'm like doing DMs because I needed to like get out of that environment. I needed to like actually accomplish something. I needed to make money. But then I didn't. Like I essentially, and this really sucked to be honest, because I went through my whole first year and the only money that I really ended up making was that one client for that 3-month contract for $1,400 a month. The rest of that time was spent cold calling and doing outreach and just doing a bunch of the wrong work. I was trying really hard, but it was a bunch of the wrong work. Like I didn't hang out with my friends in college as much as I could have, and they're just amazing people and I could have spent more time with them, but I was trying to build a business that ended up making no money at that time. And then on top of that, around the end of that semester before I finally moved back home, I'd gotten into an accident, so I didn't have a car anymore, and I was just kind of stranded, and then a whole bunch of other bad stuff happened behind the scenes, and it's just not a good feeling. I can say that. So I leave the first year of college. I realize, okay, this is not somewhere that I need to be. It's not somewhere I can really focus on the goals that I feel like I need to accomplish. And I decided I'm not going to come back. I'm going to go to community college next year and just go all online except for one class, because I needed to take that one class in person so I can put all my focus into the agency. So I move out of my dorm. I put all my stuff back into my parents' house, and I realized like, okay, my parents are giving me the opportunity to do this. They're letting me live at home. They're not making me pay rent. I need to make this go way faster. We can't let another year slip by how it already has. So at the time I realized like, okay, I'm putting the work in. I'm just not doing the right work. These other people have the same time in the day and I'm working harder. I'm not making any money though. So I found somebody who had been running an agency for a while at that point, very successfully. And I was like, okay, how much for you to kind of like take me under your wing and like show me everything you need to know? And this guy said a big ass number. I think at the time it was like 5 or 10K, or not that much, but like at the time I thought that was a lot. And I was like, okay. So I got any money together that I could. There was still some money that I'd saved from that, $1,400 a month client. My car that I had gotten into an accident with and crashed. I sold like the remains of my car to put into like this guy to coach me. And believe it or not, it worked. Like I was doing the right work, just slightly wrong. I was targeting remodeling companies at the time. What back then wasn't the greatest niche. Now I see a lot of people succeeding with it. And he had told me to get into a new niche, like a new industry to market for, which was roofing. And at the time, roofing was very unsaturated, meaning not too many people were trying to sell them marketing. And it was very easy to make them money because if you get them one deal, then it makes the minimum $3,000 in profit, if not $5,000 to $10,000 in profit. So after that, like 11, 12 months of essentially nothing, aside from that $1,400, I went from 0 to 13K in a month, which was insane to go from nothing, and then just shoot up to 10K a month after just 3 months of knowing the right work to do, which was a crazy feeling, right? Like imagine you're 18, 19, however old I was at the time, just sitting in class and you're looking at the people next to you, it's like they don't make 13K a month. You look at the teacher, it's like you probably don't make 13K a month. And I'm just like sitting, like working on the agency in like my one in-person class, and then my online classes I may or may not have been actually doing any work for. And it was great, but I put 10K a month on such a pedestal for such a long amount of time that when I actually hit it, I just became so lost. It's like when all those like big founders of giant $100 million companies finally sell, they're like depressed because they don't know what to happen next. I had that, but my number was only 10 grand. And I lost my why. I didn't know why I was pushing, because before I was working, I'm gonna hit 10K a month. I'm gonna hit 10K a month. 10K a month is like the biggest number ever. And then I hit it and nothing changed. Nobody cared. There was no celebration. There was no nothing. I posted a YouTube video about it. You guys like that, which is great. But then I just low-key got lazy afterwards. Like I fully fell off. And on top of me like losing the momentum and losing the drive, there were things that I hadn't learned or that weren't taught to me about how to keep clients, because I was getting my clients leads and I was getting them deals, I was making them money, but there's things aside from that that people don't teach, that they don't show on YouTube, that I now know are important to make clients stay with you, to keep paying me the $2,000 a month or whatever I was charging, right? And then so eventually they start leaving. And then also roofing is a seasonal business. So roofers aren't gonna keep paying for marketing in the winter. I hit 13K that September. By November, I had fallen to $1,900 a month. It was awful. Like I posted that video saying I was at 10, 13K a month, whatever. And I was still getting a lot of external validation from that, like from that video. But I was like making no money. It was like really embarrassing. And then, so at that time, luckily because of that video doing well and me continuing to upload videos to this channel, I had met and then gotten to become friends with some guys who were actually doing well with their agencies, whether they were making 20, 30, 50, 150 grand a month. And I realized again, it was like when I had just dropped out of college to go all in and I got that first mentor, I needed new information again to get me out of this rut, to get me to build a business that's actually gonna keep making me money instead of making me money once and then fall off. So I do that and I call a bunch of my boys and I'm like, yo, this is really embarrassing, but this is where I'm at right now. And it was a very humbling experience to talk to the guys after kind of falling off. But surprisingly, every single one of them said different variations of the same thing. They all told me that to get to more money, my goal was to go from zero essentially, or $1,000, $1,900 a month to 100K a month in the next 6 months. And they said, okay, this is what you're gonna need to do. And they all pretty much told me the same things of what would need to happen in order to do that. So I did them. The first month back, they said, okay, you need to turn on Facebook ads to run ads for your own agency called B2B ads. And you need to call every single lead that you've ever spoken with and just grind on like outreach as far as like reaching out to potential clients to sign a bunch of new people. And I said, okay. So I did that and I pushed and I did as much as I possibly could. And we went from $1,900 to 12K in February, right off the bat. It's like, okay, we're back. My boys were right. We're on the right track. Around that time, they said also get really good at sales. And they gave me the sauce on how to learn that sales, which is amazing. And I've taught a lot of people that sense. But when you learn a different way to sell, you sell less. So I went from 12K, I only made 8K the next month in February. But that next month, March, going into March, I had consistent appointments from my new agency, from those ads that I was running for my own agency, and I finally understood how to sell for the first time ever. So it wasn't just randomly talking to people on Zoom calls. I had a process, and the process worked. And I went from 8K in February to 35K in March in 1 month. That's like basically a 4X increase in revenue in 1 month, which was crazy. And then in June, which was like the end of that 6-month goal that I'd set to hit 100K a month at 19, I didn't hit 100 grand, but I hit 50. I made $50,000 in a single month when I was 19. And keep in mind, I had barely dropped out of that community college because I was going to that school and I made 35 grand that month, 36 grand the next month or whatever else. And I went to the professor and I was like, hey, like this is what I'm doing. I'm not trying to brag, but this is what's been coming in lately. And it's kind of losing me money to go to school. And he told me, and he's a G for this, he said, if I was in your position, knowing what I know about you having the drive and everything, I wouldn't necessarily be here right now, but I'm legally not allowed to give you the advice I want to give you. And I was like, well, all right, this dude just told me to drop out and I have not seen him since. Major respect to that marketing teacher for saying that, helped me a ton. And that allowed me to go on and hit the 50 grand a month. But after I hit that 50 grand a month, I did something that not a lot of people would do. I didn't try and hit 100. I didn't try and hit 150. I said, okay, I make more than enough money right now for a 19-year-old, right? And I can work from anywhere. I can kind of like do the things I want to when I want to. I have the time freedom as well. So I'm just going to enjoy this and try and like live the coolest life I can for the next little bit. So I did. So I started going on trips with my friends to like San Diego and Miami and like all these cool places. And then one of my boys, Jack, who also runs an agency, we kind of just realized, hey, if we just move in, we can be roommates, but not regular roommates like we would be in like an apartment for like a year or 2 year lease. Since we have a lot of money coming in and can work from anywhere, we just lived in Airbnbs for the past pretty much the whole year. And it's been amazing. We took that money that we had and are making consistently more of. We lived in San Diego first for a couple of months. And then while I was in San Diego, I went on a trip to Orlando for my agency, where I was actually a sponsor at RoofCon, where we sold marketing packages in person to the roofers there, which was crazy. The week after that, I went to LA to see Bronny and LeBron play, and then Bronny didn't actually play, which was stupid. The week after that, I went back to Florida to go do some agency coaching stuff, which was really, really cool. And then we left San Diego and moved to Arizona. In Arizona, we lived in like Scottsdale, Tempe area, so like in between like the really nice part and then right next to ASU, which was a ton of fun. We also had a little Airbnb for a while in Sedona, which was beautiful. That house looked like Batman. Then we were in Idaho for a little bit. We were in Utah for a little bit, like a bunch of different places that we lived in, and then a couple others that we're gonna gatekeep that were actually really cool to be in. And it was just a really amazing life the past year that the agency was actually able to provide for me. And then since then, Jack and I have split ways. So Jack is with his girl right now, I believe in Boston, and that's where they're living for a while. And I just moved into my dream apartment, which is here in California. I can see the beach from my bed when I wake up in the morning. It's like a 45-second walk to be in the actual water, which is amazing. It's been great. So that's how my past 1,000 days were. I'm very glad. So past Levi, shout out to you for locking in and actually doing this, because I never really thought this was like a real possibility for a life, because I didn't know anybody who had done this. With that being said though, if you do want to start an agency after hearing me talk about it, or you have an agency and you'd rather just skip to the good parts and just scale, I do have a very private, very small one-on-one mentorship where I'll just give you the consulting. We'll jump on a call and see, okay, this is what you're good at, this is what you could need some help with, and this is what you're not doing. And I'll just give you the inputs to get to the next level, whether you just are starting out, you want to get to your first 5, 10K a month, or you want to go from 10, 20K a month to 50K a month and beyond like I have. That's what I can help with. It is pretty expensive, but you can click the link below to see if you would be accepted for it. There's some other testimonials as well from other guys I've helped. One lately, bro, Ayush. If you are watching this, shout out to you. Ayush is in India. He's 19 and he's making 35K a month in India. Like he can pretty much like by the country at that point. It's crazy. But yeah, aside from that, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, DM me if you have any questions.